We're just going to focus mostly on planning routes and making some minor changes and stuff like that instead of getting into all the nitty gritty. Also, I'm on a wireless spot thing, so a Wi-Fi spot deal, so inside a warehouse, so it may be a little glitchy, but we'll find out. What's up, Brian? You guys are here for everything. Okay, so there's gonna be a couple of things we'll touch on outside of the delivery planner. Will be like letting your employees see it if you have employees, or printing the paperwork if you don't. So we'll wait a couple bit and give a couple more people maybe a chance. I'm not gonna wait too long because this will be recorded for other people to watch afterwards. So all right. So we are going to start in one thing I do every time I take an order. Okay, this is something that would probably be a good practice to do when you take an order versus afterwards. See, the setup times that IO uses to decide how long you're going to spend at a place doing setup is in your inventory. So if you go inventory, let's see, we'll show advanced. It's not in the advanced section. It's here. Setup time and teardown time. If you say you're going to put 30 minutes per item, then and you have 5 items, it's going to take you 2.5 hours to set up. I believe that's right math. 2.5 hours to set up and 2.5 hours to tear down. In real life, it does not take 2.5 hours to set up 5 inflatables most of the time. I guess there's probably some out there that I just don't know that I don't have, but that's where it's pulling those numbers from um, for your length of times. That's what I usually go in, and when I take an order, especially a larger one, a multi inflatable deal, then I go through and change it. So like this one here, I come in and you can change what the setup time is in on this bar. So like this one, I know has 3 inflatables, my marble castle, a slide, and an obstacle course. I know. Hold on one second. Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. That's a 3 hour minimum. Yeah, it's because I screwed theirs up, but I'm honoring the 3 hour deal because I screwed it up. Yeah, that would work out fine, probably. We just have to text Devin and Michael and make sure they're okay with going an hour earlier, which they probably will be. But yeah, yep. Hey, that's fine. If you want to do the 3 hour thing, that's what the price was supposed to be for. I just messed up on putting in their thing, so I was honoring the online price or the online deal, not the price. But if he's willing to do 2 hours and just make it earlier, I'm okay with that too. I'd probably just do the 3 hours if the guys are okay with going an hour earlier. Okay. I'm on Facebook Live right now. Yeah. All right. Love you. Bye. Okay, so this one has the three inflatables. It never takes us. It would normally tell us an hour, but because it's a package, I have it set up. See, it's saying 15 minutes. Well, there's no way we're sending 15 minutes. It's usually a half hour to set up because it's why I do it for as low as I do. That package because I know I can set those up really quick and easy. They don't get to choose any three. It has to be a specific three. So you go in here, and every time I take an order, I will go ahead and put change my setup times. That way I don't have to do it later, but I'll show you doing it later as well. So I don't mess with the travel time because that's all wherever. All right, so let's get into the delivery planner now that you have that done. And I only change that when I know that it's estimating long or really short, like I did there. I'm not going to show you the delivery planner for that. I'm going to go back and choose something a little bit more busy so that we get a little bit more accuracy in how setting it up. Okay, so this is one I had, and I had something around the neighborhood of 14 jobs, 16 jobs to set up in one day. As you can see here, I have 2 trucks. I use a cleaning crew for one truck and a U-Haul for another, so I don't use all 4 as vehicles. I can't wait for the new one, and hopefully they change how that works, but that's what we do now. Speaking of, I'm doing this video now because I'm not to sound bad, it's to be realist, I guess. I know they're coming out with a new system, but I doubt they're going to come out with a new system in the next month. And so I figure this would help people work well until the new system comes out, and then we'll get videos and stuff for the new system. But this will help out as the season wears on and they haven't released it, the new update and whatever. So don't plan on having this. I wouldn't plan on having it in April. I don't really know for sure. I just know development is usually, I always think development's harder than what everyone makes it out to be. So, nice, Nikki. It was, whatever. I'm going back and forth on Facebook. Okay, so if you only have the 3 vehicles allotted, or every one of these are vehicles, and you don't mind using every one of these vehicles in a given day, you can click this auto load button and it'll populate everything in there and what their algorithm says is the best way to go. I don't know what that algorithm says, and it never works for me. So I don't ever use it, but it may work for you, and you may try it a couple times and see. You may only have to make a couple adjustments and save even more time. But this one, it won't work for me because I have this is a rental and this is a cleaning day, so it's going to see it put stuff on those, and I won't have anyone to do that. So, and then as you can see here, I have 2 jobs that aren't even being placed. I have to go through and move things around to place it. But that's what the auto deal works for. I'm going to reset that so now whenever I do this, the first thing I do is I will go through, and this is where I make sure all these are the right time. See how the bars are different for every one of them? This means the green is my setup time. You can change that color in the delivery preferences to whatever you want. Purple is when it's staffed for me, and green is when it's just drop off. But the bigger the green box, the longer it takes for setup, and the smaller, the shorter amount of time you allot. It, like I said, it's based on the number of inflatables you have and how long you say each inflatable takes to set up. If you're setting up multiples in one inflatable, of one inflatable is at one stop, it's generally shorter. So like this here says an hour and a half to set it up. So we're going to look at it and see what's in there. There's a pop-up when you click on it, and it tells you everything about the event you want to know. This pop-up is completely customizable to say anything you want, and you can go into settings, pages and templates, delete that filter, and delivery pop up. And then you can come in here and add all the variables you want to make sure that it's showing what you want shown when you're doing your route. So so I go in here, I see I have a basketball, the basketball 16-foot slides is really simple, and a bouncer, it does not take us an hour and a half. So I'm going to click on this. It opens up my lead. Now this is in the past, so I'm not going to save this, but it should only take us, I'm going to say 3/4 of an hour. And now it's doing this on, I'm not saving this because I already have a shift assigned. So if I change it all, it's going to really screw up my system, so I'm not going to save it. But you would just go into this, click the lead, change the time here if you didn't do it already. So, and then when you save and close, you go through and do all these that way. Okay, so you have them all in here. And you just go through, and anything that stands out, just click it and be like, oh, I know this one's bigger, and open it, change it. Because once you're done, you're going to have to come in and refresh it so that the new length of time comes in. So now we're going to route. Now, whenever I route, everyone has their own way of doing their routes. Some of us kind of go by party time, and for me, and this may be where I'm not the best person for this video, because I do. I just drop all my weekend stuff off on Friday and pick it up on Monday, so I have all the time in the world to do things. So see, all my stuff is at 6 or 7 at night. I kind of was changing how I do that. Sorry, got a message, wasn't sure if it was about this video. So I look at here and I say, okay, I have to have it before 6. I have to have it before 6. See, this one says 6. And you may look at all that as you go down. So all mine are before 6 or 7. The ones that say 6 can be whatever. The ones that say 7 can be 6. We were changing how we do our event time, so I'm not going to go into that. But that's how you can tell when things need to be dropped off. For me, I start from the furthest job out and come in, and I try to stack all my trucks, everything in the truck. So now I can just go and find my 15. I'm going to, man, I have 17. All right. So I start at 9 in the morning, and I try to have my guys leave the warehouse around 9. I try not to make them work too long in the day. So this is kind of what I do. I always start here, and I can always move it if I need to, but I start out last, and then I come out, and then I look at those streets, and I kind of try to plan the route as I go. As they come down, I want them to come over and do 1, so I'm going to find 1, and you're just going to drag and drop all these in. And notice the green, it changes length as you move it. So if I drop it away, that one's probably because of the time. But I want all these on one truck. Okay, so I know my 16-foot trailer can hold up to, depending on the size of them, 7 or 8 inflatables. So, you have to kind of know your trailer and your what you're working on. If you put the weight of your inflatables on it, and then in your vehicles, when you're setting up your vehicles, you can go into settings and vehicles, and the weight that the vehicles can handle, then it should tell you when you're overweighting your trailer and you need to create a brake. So I'm going to go to, let's see, I went to Marshfield. I'm just going to come into Turner's and then call that one load. Where's my... And then I'm going to send my guys back to the warehouse. Okay. I like to give my guys a good break, an hour lunch. So before I send them back out again, I usually will start the next truck. So start 14 and we'll start them here. Okay, by this time I've already gone through and looked at all these, right? So I don't have to go in and do anything. It's all done for me. I'm getting all these Facebook notifications. Not sure what's for this video and what's for other things. Okay, so 10, 11. Now my 12-foot trailer can't handle as many, so I have to make them come back earlier. Where's my 11? Oh, 14. Oh, oops. 14. I'm not sure where my 14's at. Oh, there it is. So see how they take the place of each other? So I'm going to go 14, 10, 11. This one can only hold 4 or 5, so I'm going to start bringing them back to the warehouse. 3. Four is probably the safe number because these are all combos. I can tell by the length of time to set them up what they are for the most part. See, that's all concessions, so I know I don't have to worry about that. I can't believe I delivered those. So I'm going to go ahead and tell them to come down to 17. And then I'm going to tell them to go back to the warehouse and to reload and take another break. Now, I generally give my guys about an hour lunch paid. It depends on your state laws what you guys do, so whatever. 3, and then when they reload, I'm going to send them back out. So I'm going to go, I know my 12-foot trailer does better gas, so I'm going to send them out at 12, an hour, call it there. 12, and then so it's really easy, just drag and drop. See how these two are like right next to each other, so I don't even, there's like no drive time is what they're saying. See, they're right next to each other. And then now the idea for me is to get them all off around the same time because I'm nice like that. So now I have 3 jobs left, so I'm going to go see 16, 2, and 9. So now I can go out and see 2, 16, and 9. I'm putting this on my bigger truck, so they have a break, 2, 16, and 9. Now, they each got to sleep in. They each get an hour lunch paid, and one crew is obviously working longer than the others. If you, I'm not going to tell you who to put where or how to do it. You just drag and drop it, and it automatically changes the length of time, calculates your delivery time, how long it takes to set up. If you have these settings set in, so how much gas costs you, your hourly rate you're paying people, it'll tell you how many hours to plan on and how much it should cost you, how many miles you drive, and everything. You can click show your map, and it pulls that down there, and then hide your map. So that's so that you don't have to scroll up every time. You can just click show your map. And then you say, oh, I'm right there. And then hide your map and go back to dragging things around. Once you are done with everything, I'm not going to save this because, like I said, it'll change everything in my route deal and it'll be messed up. So I'm not going to save this one. I'm going to go to a newer one where I know the route's set for, we'll just say Friday. This is fun. I only have 3 jobs, but this is my route. If you have employees, you can schedule them right here. You click the little calendar, and then it comes up like here, we don't have anything. You click add shift, you can choose the date, the start time, the end time and date, the position you want to fill, and the person you want to fill that position. That's how you schedule your employees, and it'll assign them to these jobs. Where that's really good is if you are distributing tips based on someone paying, then it'll be easier to tell who worked a specific job. You can go into, say, this lead, and you click on shifts down here. And now I know that if this person, say, tipped $50, that Devin and Michael both get the tip. One set it up, one tore it down. Well, they both set it up and tore it down, so are going to. So it's just a long shift, but that'll give you an idea of who to give tips to. Okay, so if you don't have the workers module, you can easily do this by, say, you print it, and now you have all these different options. Okay, this is the old UI. This is what's going to change whenever they get the new app and system down, but for now they just take you to the old UI. You can print the directions. This has to be seen, I believe. Guess it doesn't. So if you don't do, I've never not had the directions done. So I think you have to have that checked to do the turn-by-turn directions. And if you click both of those, it gives them where they can turn and how far to go down. I have a funny story. I had one guy that I was telling him to help me out, and he didn't want to use his GPS, so he was using this. But it was funny because he had no idea that Hermitage, as an example, was a city, and this was the zip code, and this was the building number and street. He had to ask for each section of that, like, what is that? How do I know what that is and stuff? Because he's used to just putting stuff in GPS, but for some reason he didn't want to do it for his work. So for work, he just wanted to do it for his personal use. It was really weird. You can do the vehicle packing list. So if you do the vehicle packing list, that gives you all the stops that are, now mine's done a little bit differently than yours, but I believe the default is it tells you the stops that you're going to. See, this is a set up and then tear down. It doesn't really say that, but you could probably add a column to say that. It tells you what order to pack everything in. Okay, so you're going to start from the top and work your way down, and then you're going to unload from the bottom and work your way back up. That's how it is. This here is not in any real order. It just groups everything together. I mean, it is in order, but it groups things together. So if you have blowers, it's going to tell you, it's going to group your blowers together. If you have stakes, it's going to group your stakes. Sandbags will group your sandbags. All depending on how you have it set up in your system. So, but that's how that is. And then they all, if you choose to, you have the packing list for deliveries. And then it prints your delivery packing list, and whatever you have on your delivery packing list is what's going to show up on for this packing list per stop. You can also do one for pickups. I'm not real positive what the difference is between setups and pickups. It may change some of the worker shifts that are assigned to it. It may not. I'm not real positive. If you need contracts to be signed, you can do that. Or if you want to print the contracts that are already signed, you can do that. So you can choose the ones you want. I usually print the first 4 almost always, specifically for the guys that don't want to use their own GPS. And then you click print. Whenever it prints, it'll print them by truck. So you print the first truck. It tells you the truck up here and trailer. Well, the truck, the day, and the directions first, then the vehicle load sheet, and then each stop that's on that vehicle. And then it'll go to the second one, and it'll print the second one's directions, and then the load sheet. Look, I've already got problems with my code, but so that's how you do it if you do not have the workers module. If you do have the workers module and you save that, I'm not going to use that tab. I'm going to go into the worker's site. Okay, if you have the worker's site, it's going to be based on how you have it set up. But in general, their shifts are going to be green. If you allow them to see other people's shifts, it's going to be red. So like all these are red because I'm not going out on these. Or at least I'm not assigned to. I probably will. But then they can click on one of the greens. The green is the best one, and they can click delivery and have all that same information, but it opens up on a mobile friendly deal where they can go in. If they want to, they can also see individual packing lists. Again, all mobile friendly. This is really cool. I set this QR code up so if they do it on the worker site, they can just click the link and it opens up the SMS app. This is going to do an email. But it opens up the SMS app so they can send it instead of scanning that code. If it's printed, they can scan. If it's digital, they can click. It's really cool. And then that's the best way to access it on the worker side of it. And then they can see whatever you allow them to see. So you may not allow them to see some of this stuff, and you may allow them to see others. So this is all dependent on what you allow. That's the gist of it. I think it's really easy. You just have to make sure, like I said, you want to go into your events and make sure that you're changing the length of the jobs that you're going. Like this one, like I said, 3 items does not take an hour and a half to set up. So when I get the order, I just automatically change it to what I know it is. You can set delivery windows if you want to. So like for me, I'm going to try. Never thought about this, but let's say, use this. I'm going to try something out while you guys are on here. Whatever. Yep. March 4th. Do I really have someone? Okay, so I'm going to set a delivery window of March 4th. So I can set the delivery window here and say, I'm not going to. And then if you set the delivery window there when you're in the logistics calendar. Sorry, let me. This is not as long as I thought it was going to be. It's mostly just dragging and dropping your deal on and making sure that you're going in here and changing the actual setup times and making sure it's correct. But if you set that delivery window, whenever you do this, it'll put these pink lines that you need to be in between to make sure you're delivered on time, so that you're not late. So that's what the delivery window does. Like I said, we're going to be getting a new system real soon, so I didn't want to go too in depth, but I wanted to make sure that you guys are able to use it efficiently and not be afraid of it as much. It's a pretty amazing software, what you can do with it as it stands, and I'm looking forward to see what we can do with it going forward. So see you guys on the other side. If there's no questions, I guess I can look and see if there's any questions. This is always me and Brian and Nikki the whole time. I wonder if I'm even still live. You bet, Brian. I hope I helped. It seems really simple sometimes, and then I end up not. I don't know. Going into it all day, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be more complicated. It's going to take me an hour. And he's right, the cool kids. And then I start going over and like, this is really simple. I don't know how to make it answer any questions. So I need to, I think I'm going to start doing. Hey, Kanan. Yeah, so in the workers site, that's what I was going over there at the end, is when they go to the workers site, if you assign their shift, that you have to assign them to a shift. You assign the shift by doing, let's see. So like for Friday, dang it. So what happened here is, see, my guys, they signed themselves a shift. So then when they log into their site, they will come in on Friday and they'll see a green dot and they can click on it. And then this is all messed up because it says driver and it says the first job. It doesn't say all the jobs. It always just says the first one. It's weird. But when they click on their green dot, the green dot's the most important one. Then they can go in and see everything that you allow them to see that belongs to them. Okay, so they can click the delivery and it opens up this and they can just scroll through it on their device. So this is how my guys see it, and then they'll zoom in on their phones. This right here, they'll zoom in and see everything. They can click the link on their phone, see it's clickable in that section. That's how my guys do it. If they have access to the red, they can do the red as well, but it gets really crazy because sometimes things get intermingled and weird. But they can also choose specific. So if they want to see just the jobs for this, they can go packing list, and it'll only show them that one packing list. Or I'm not sure if it'll show them just the one delivery. Yeah, no, it still shows them everything. But if they choose the events, then it changes this down here to only show what you allow them to see. So you have to go in to change their permissions. So to do that, you would just go into your worker, and then I'm going to show you, so my drivers, I have a driver worker here, and permissions. And then I just scroll down and I say, okay, this is the stuff that I know that I want them to see. So I go to workers site, anything that's workers, and then they can see what the vehicle, they can see the pretty much anything worker related. Most things. There's some things I don't need them to. They don't need to export. They don't need payroll. They have workers site. This is where you give them the access to stuff. So workers site right here. You give them delivery print, so you give them full access to pretty much anything on the workers site that you want them to do. And that's how they are able to access this section here. Does that help? Straight into navigation. So there is, let's see, there's a way to do that. So you can go to, like, they choose that, you can go to directions, and it hyperlinks. So now I have that. They can do it that way. I mean, if they're on their phone, you don't really need a hyperlink per se. You can, on a phone, 9 times out of 10, you can just click and hold the address, and then a maps option will pop up. So I don't really link anything to that on a phone. But generally, I just tell them to do the drop down and click directions. Is how they do it. Does that help? And then, I mean, that's pretty much it. Is there any other questions? I hope I helped you out a little bit, Kanan. Made it easier. Okay, great. I think I'm going to try maybe, I got doing maybe some other ones where we go into people's accounts, like, and help out with this navigation, because I think it'll be easier maybe if I have other people that can ask me questions or give whatever, because I may not be hitting a lot of things. I'm not real positive, and during the day we only get a few people watching, and I'm sure everyone else watches it later. So but evening time's time with my kids, so that's what I'm doing. That's it. I'm gonna go, and if you have any questions, you can always message me. privately or whatever. Yeah, that's the hard part. You don't realize that the permissions have to be there. That's because I don't know why, but you think some of them would be automatic, like um, time clock. I want them to use the time clock, clock in and clock out, but that's not automatically done. I have to tell them that they're allowed to use the time clock. See, where's the time clock at? Yeah, the time clock. I have to give them permission. The default is not to give them permission. So, um, kind of a pain in the butt. But you think that would the some of that would just be defaulted in there. The bare minimum would just be defaulted, but whatever. Like I said, it's all going to change, and when it does, we'll all have to learn the new software again. But this will help for until then. So, see you guys later.